Welcome back to T&E. We're heading towards round five, and we have a new commentator. Hello, Watchwolf.
Hey, what's up? I'm glad to, third week in a row, you couldn't keep me out, so here I am, and I'm excited. We see some of the decks that we've seen the previous weeks, but we've also seen some new ones, some innovative ones, and we're going to be looking at them a little bit closer in
Yeah,
this round. So I'm excited.
yeah. Would you like to talk about the Huru Aegis deck?
Yeah. The Huru Aegis deck. Almost is definitely known for brewing, and this is a really unique way to sort of attack the meta game. So especially with Argenport taking down the last 2 weeks, Aegis seems to be in a pretty good spot. Sure, you get kind of addressed by hitting Garrote, but outside of that, you can kind of implicitly two for one the opponent, or really uh, play some units that can pack a punch. So we see Dynamite just we haven't seen much of this card, but if you're able to alchemy student onto it, you might even be able to like race a horde of smaller unleashed units, along with just the overall structure of playing um, Sky Crack Synthesis. So we see two of them here, but by not playing too many, maybe you're able to hold them back, not be as reliant on them, and for your power drops, and then maybe be able to counter a key Nothing Remains or whatever card the opponent is trying to use to up. And then we still have the basic island package of island with Serpent Hive, along with icicles to be able to trigger that sort of frenzy effect to really pack a punch. So I really like the look of this list, and we're going to be seeing it against Roshi. So we're going to go down to the match. And what do
Yep.
you think about these opening hands? So we
I can.
see.
Yeah, I see interesting opening hand from. I think almost can keep this hand.
Mhm,
One can carry him to victory. Roshi has a hand that I wouldn't keep.
mhm. Yeah, it's tough. You like have the two drop, but you can't nicely play the three drop. The
Yeah,
tone doesn't come in undepleted until third turn, but it does have plunk, which is pretty good. A pretty good removal spell on average against other plunks. So you
yeah,
might see some interesting dynamic there. And Roshi is on the play, so might be trying to lean into that. Maybe try to curve out. On Almost side, you kind of see a cool combo of having Aegis units with cards like Finest Hour because you're less likely to run into his play. So you're able to just pair off one for one using your punch.
yeah. Um. We'll see if Roshi keeps this. In your analysis is pretty spot on too. So
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Given the way the mulligan system works, you don't get that punished if you want to be a little bit greedier. I think Roshi might have mulliganed on the draw, just for
yeah,
speed purposes. They do have a lot of inscribed cards as well, so we see that sort of depleted element here with a fourth three drop spell.
yep. We're gonna see a Sultan Conclave come in with the primal and a plunk. We're gonna see almost probably play a plunk as well. To,
Yeah, it'll be interesting if Almost chooses to block. I could see not doing it. So he doesn't find this out.
yeah, get extra damage off the finest hour and draw a card. Yes, please.
Yeah, you kind of end up in a win-win situation here, where if you were to draw a unit, you can just play the unit and then take that here, and then if you don't, then you
Yeah,
kind of get the free draw. So both of them are kind of just exchanging, like drawing of cards.
for 3 damage.
Yeah, we see Roshi playing Miner's Musket, so it's not quite as unfair as in the other Unleashed decks. You still
Yeah,
hit the gorillas if you get a little bit lucky, but mostly
for
just
sure.
playing that for removal for other plunks, I imagine. So kind of doing
Yeah.
its job here, but gonna run face first into this finest hour.
Yeah, and another thing about the minor basket that makes sense is also it also reduces cost of like a couple of unleash cards and a couple of units that are very important to this deck, like the
Mhm.
Turgaunt or the Torgov.
Yeah,
So
you can run into some really interesting Whispering Wind stuff where you might discard a
yeah,
power and pick up the discounted card as well, which is
yeah,
yeah.
I'm not mad at the minor basket. See a draw from see a plunk hit from almost. Almost seems to be winning this plunk war here.
Mhm. Yeah, so it looks like with Torgov getting the discount. It could be possible that you can play the discount Torgov and leave up to play, but on average, you probably don't find many play kind of just running into another finest hour.
Yeah.
Um, so kind of gotta think how this game is going to develop from here because if you're not planning for a turn six dynamite, then it's kind of rough. Like that requires a little bit of work in advance to figure out how you want to address that. So you might actually see, okay, so you're seeing the attack first. One other possible line was to play the 4-drop Torgov and then take that. And the reason why you would do that is because you want to set up a menacing enough board for the dynamite turn.
Yeah. Could see its home come down, and a something with the plunk for the finest hour here.
Hmm.
Leaving up the display for inevitable uh the big drops.
Yeah,
Like we're gonna see. Yeah, it looks like that's might be the line.
so one thing to definitely pay attention to here, and it definitely catches up, like out of nowhere almost, is the life totals. So because of the one
Yeah,
Miner's Musket into Finest Hour play, despite Roshi being on the play, is actually a little bit behind on life total.
yeah,
And this is a matchup where almost is the one with access to cards like Alchemy Student to really change the race in terms of if we're just fighting tit for tat, and then just the flurry of icicles that can come down from either side. So that primal removal spell also being able to go face is rather important.
yeah. Looks like we are gonna see in our high school go face though.
Yeah, I like that play. Just kind of identifying that, hey, if you know if you don't do something here and you're willing to take another plunk hit, I actually just have lethal, but almost is also a very top tier player and will surely, minimally put up the face ages. I think we might even see the alchemy student here, just to
Yeah,
swing it around a little.
Alchemy student. Maybe a
Finest hour too.
finest hour. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I'd like to see the finest hour because it gives you a good out of being able to hit double icicles to be able to win. And I think, if I recall correctly, the only ways that Roshi has to gain face Aegis is display of survival. Uh,
yeah,
so if that is the case, then it could be possible that playing the finest hour just to get the little extra chunk of damage could be worth it. But we see them instead choosing to hold off a bit, which I definitely respect.
yeah. Um, yeah. We could possibly see a double icicles here too.
Hmm.
Kill the flunk, the ice shield flunk, but I'm not sure how efficient that would be because it's 2 for 1 yourself.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. Your plunk is decent at blocking the opposing plunk,
Yeah,
but it's true that there are situations where that doesn't line up very well. So we know that there's this double permafrost, but even just Teriox mount doesn't work out too well for you. So I think what Roshi is considering is like, how do I still be aggressive, or like, how do I address this board as it is right now? I think we're gonna
yeah.
see the icicles run
Icicles
into
still come
this
down.
finest hour. And this is actually something that happened both here and in the Open I was able to win with Rakano, which is if everyone's playing these mid-range decks, Finest Hour is fantastic. It always trades up in terms of power efficiency, and the cost of leaving it up is so small. And we see
That
it
is
just,
lethal.
yeah, exactly. Just being able to turn this whole game around and really really deliver the beatdowns.
All right.
But yeah, so game one there going to almost. So how much of the matchup do you think might be play draw dependent versus just the actual contents of their hand?
I think if I think I think her Aegis has actually a better matchup going on than Fun Play.
Hmm.
To be completely honest, the spells deck doesn't really wants more removal against things like Plunk and uh a lot of the units, or wants to go face with them more likely than not.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely makes sense. It seems like the way the format's shaking up is you kind of have these loosely like 3 to 4 sort of like pillars. So you have like the Unleashed decks trying to be a little bit like more
Yeah,
unfair with the Miner's Musket. You have the Argenport control decks. Then you have some combination of Xenon or Destruction mid-range decks. And then you have the maybe display of survival decks, however you want to put the primal
Yeah,
heavy sort of decks. And so we're kind of seeing, I wouldn't say a mirror match per se because their tools are a little bit different, but they're both saying like, how am I trying to be the best primal deck to display to be able to play display of survival and to be able to address the other three different pillars of the format.
yeah.
So are there any cards that or situations that you've seen that have really impressed you so far today?
The Soulfire Lethal at the first round that Roshi had
Oh
was
yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And we see two of
yeah,
them there in the opening hand. Not great against Plonk, but as we mentioned in game one, okay, the Myers Musket they're drawn off the top, but if not, we probably would have seen Plonk try to trade for Plonk. But
yeah.
a little bit more upside here for Roshi.
A little bit more upside. We might see a Justice. No, we're gonna see. We're gonna see a Justice next turn with his old Conclaves, considering they don't have Justice. Otherwise, they're gonna. They might, well, okay, they need to play Island probably next turn.
Hmm.
Maybe we won't see a Justice with it.
One
This
thing.
hand does support a all primal plan.
Mhm. One thing I do like a lot about Roshi's deck is the combination of Whispering Wind with your Unleash cards. So typically when you
Yeah,
play the Unleash cards, you don't have much to do with the extra card, but instead you can actually pitch it to the Whispering Wind. And what I like is that to cap it all off at the top end are your Inscribe cards. So by going to the highest number, you actually hit your power drops, which is a really sweet synergy.
yeah. It's actually funny you mentioned that because that actually happened earlier.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm psychic, I guess, or
yeah.
maybe not. But
No,
walking to
no.
Taco Bell doesn't pick itself up. So that's what I was doing for the first couple rounds.
Yeah, yeah. No. Yeah. Roshi had discarded. I think it was Berserker Gorillas, and
Mm, yeah, that's tasty. And one thing that I really like about this sort of deck construction from Roshi is that I think a big nut to crack in this format is how do I make my turn two the best? And sure, people are playing Miner's Musket, but like beyond that, like what do you actually want to do? So like Plunk and Miner's Musket is like already a pretty sweet duo, but when you throw Whispering Wind into the mix, that's when it's starting to be like, okay, I actually have a very consistent two drop plan. So I like that decision here.
Springeth coming down, causing the Numbing Colt coming down as well.
Hmm.
We might see a Wisdom of the Elders popped off here just before the Numbing Colt comes in.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough. I mean, that's presenting itself kind of like a two for one situation because almost deck really does have a lot of spells, and each of them very, very important to how the overall game plan and structure is trying to like what he's trying to accomplish. So let's see, you can't trigger Frenzy twice, so even if you use the Serpent Hive on Inscribe, you're only a 5/5. But it feels like you gotta make some sort of moves. It feels pretty
Yeah,
bad to kind of like throw away your Wisdom of Elder into the numbing cold. So I think your Plunk kind of trades up, so that's kind of nice. So you might be able to attack, play Plunk, and then let the Wisdom trade, and then try to set up a Serpent Hive for next turn.
yeah.
Um,
And yeah, Certain Hive is going to be very important in this particular matchup. You could also theoretically, like, I don't, this probably isn't the best move, but you could also theoretically, inscribe the Serpent Hive and then swing with the island, hoping for a trade, and drop a Flunk and Wisdom for that. But
yeah, you can just attack first if you want to do that
yeah,
one, and then just see how it goes. I think
it looks
Almost
like
is
that is
trying
what
to
Almost
map
is
out
gonna
the
do.
turn. Okay, yeah, so choosing to trade. So you know Roshi kind of has to take next turn off. That helps out a little. Roshi's probably viewing themselves a little bit more like the aggressor, the pace setter right now, because if they're able to hit another power after they pay off their debt, they have both of these soul fires. So
Yeah,
probably just very tantalizingly close if they let the island through, but ultimately choosing a trade, maybe just trying to say like I could play the card advantage game against you. Like I've connected with Plonk more than you have. I know that your next spell is gonna be negated, so I think that's how we end up in this spot.
yeah. Hmm.
So Roshi kind of just has the card advantage, but Missing a power this turn, starting to maybe fall a little bit behind in the tempo, but it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
say if even that's true.
Yeah, we're gonna see a plunk trade here, it looks like.
It's
Nope.
kind of a tough call. Because if Roshi takes more debt and misses a power here, like you kind of think like, how am I gonna win this? And I think that's kind of how it lines up. Okay, that's a pretty sweet draw. So you can actually just go for all of it. Yeah, I like playing the
Yeah.
Serpent Hive and then collecting some debt here. So kind of just swinging it around, knowing that Roshi missed a power drop, so you're not really going to get blown out by a card like Soulfire,
Yeah.
and just really punishing the lack of not only power cards but inscribe cards. Like the way Roshi built their deck actually has a lot of the inscribe cards, but kind of missing on all of them here, and we see almost kind of
Look at that. Almost
pivoting
kind of
back
this.
into the driver's seat.
Yeah. We can see an island here, and then a swing with a contract for your data flunk. And with that, that is gonna be a dangerous amount of damage. Even if Roshi clears this, clears the 3/3, that icicles his game.
Yeah, yeah. So a pretty tough situation for Roshi. It's always hard with Plunk and the debt mechanic overall, just kind of saying, okay, like maybe just maybe I can like if I keep on taking debt, I'll hit more power, then I'll pay off the debt. It's like kind of reminds me of real life sometimes. It's a slippery slope. It's just like, okay, well if I had more money and then I do this. But we're gonna see the
I get
icicles
that.
take it down, and they'll allow Almost to advance through to the top eight here.
Yeah.
But for Roshi fans, that leaves Roshi at 3-2. So I'm not sure if that's the last match or not, but might be able to get in on tiebreakers.
Maybe.
Okay, we do still have some more outstanding
We have like
matches.
two more, three, actually four more possible. No, three more possible.
Yeah, so we'll get you one of the other ones, but
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like Almost deck just being able to kind of turn the corner and punish the lack of continuous power drops. It really stinks when you end the game with a bunch of cards in your hand. Kind of wondering if there could have been a way that you could have deployed more threats, or if I just got a little bit luckier, then all this would have turned out well for me, type of thing. Um,
Yeah.
I think a large part of it actually came down to the turn that the debt was taken for the numbing cold. So that was already a loud declaration of like, I am willing to take off the next turn for you to be down a card. But with so many removal spells in hand, it could be possible that uh, one could have convinced themselves to just be like, okay, no, just 5/4 that trades with Island is good enough. I need to be able to like just at least play my cards.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation though.
I think that island trade might have cost Roshi the game.
Yeah, it kind of took away some jamming power, like some ability to be able to just end the game sooner by not being able to attack back. So it's a hard call. You're kind of once you took the debt there, you're kind of committing to this line of trying to sort of two for
First
one
race.
your opponent out of the
Yeah.
game. Uh, but yeah, it's a tough way to go.
Looks like we got Ron versus Derek Davis.
Yeah, so Derek Davis, I think we saw both these people last round if I recall correctly. Uh,
Yeah, but they were in different matches. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So Derek Davis is playing this Ambition Unleashed deck. So
Yep.
we might see a Miner's Musket here hitting the
They're
other
actually
Miner's
both playing the
Musket.
deck. They're both playing the same deck. It's
Okay,
just different,
okay.
slightly different lists.
Yeah, and that's one thing that can definitely come up, just the functional differences between the list by the cards that they choose to play. I know last week we saw, for instance, GHP choosing to play with Kolda deck, while other
Yep.
people might be playing more removal spells, some more lower end to make their non-nutty unleashed draws go well. So it's definitely an interesting situation.
All right. We do see a big golden horn security.
Yeah,
Sorry, a low cost golden horn security. We're gonna see
yeah,
that all
but
come down.
yeah, looking at Derek Davis's hand, I mean, are you just gonna have to trade off one for one for each of these? It's kind of
Yeah,
a
that
rough
doesn't
way
seem
to
good.
go. And then even
But
if that happens, there's this through the unknown that's able to get them back and
yeah,
just do
I
it
was just about to
again.
mention the for the unknown. Yeah, that's just gonna bring it all back.
Into the
Not looking good for Derek.
unknown.
Searing Fist into Searing Fist. Impossibly a swing to try and trade. Nope. And
Yeah,
that's
so
gonna
this
be
one's
10
just
damage coming
this
through.
one's just bringing the beat down. So just saying like, okay, I already think that this is good enough to
Alright, 12
deal a
damage
ton
because they
of
both
damage.
proc.
Yep. So what's actually good about the situation for Ron is that if none of the Golden Horde securities were sent to the void, then a Nothing Remains would prevent Through the Unknown from being able to get them back because of the void bound clause on Nothing
Not really,
Remains.
because they would still have one. They would still have the one from the discard from the Unleashed.
Exactly. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly right. Good call. Yeah. So yeah, that wouldn't have even helped. So just really putting on a clinic here, and you can even slam the show, and if you
And this,
wanted to,
yeah,
but this might be a spot where you actually do want to play around Nothing Remains. Your show might be a little bit too valuable. So we might then see a single attack if that's the plan.
single attack into
Or
nope, doesn't look like it.
yeah, so this kind of accomplishes the same thing where you're
Yeah,
dealing like a bunch of damage, but you prevent them the option of being able to absorb it. So if you attacked with just single unit, then you get the Sill's passive buff onto it. But then you just say like, okay, you could take no damage and block this, but if you attack with both, you net more damage.
yep. We're gonna see Mystical Shackle coming down in the Zoe because that's lethal in air.
Yeah, very clean answer there to a card like Show that has revenge.
We're gonna see a possibly a lethal swing. Oh, not lethal swing because it's got like 6 attacks. It's gonna go to 8,
Hmm.
but it's gonna be a massive swing here on Ron's part.
Yeah, I do think it's still an interesting call if Ron wants to deploy the gorillas.
Yeah, the Gorillas to get like 3/3/2s.
Yeah, so it just depends on how much you want to play around Nothing Remains, but if they play Nothing Remains on this turn, you at least get the Sill from the site. So
Yeah,
I think that might have been a small kicker for them.
yeah. So it's gonna be pretty clutch here. Because that means that Derek Davis cannot cast too many spells, otherwise he'll die.
Yep. So I like this double block. It's something that some people forget with regards to Overwhelm, but if you already know that they're going to kill one of the unit and can't kill the other units, then you get to double block and make sure you don't
Yep.
take
All
any
right.
damage to
Derek
the
Davis
face.
scoops.
Yeah, ultimately, the parade of 3/2s on the follow up was
Yeah.
presenting a little bit too much for Derek
Bit too
Davis to
much, and then
handle.
you draw the out. Unfortunately.
Okay, so let's see if we have any other outstanding matches.
That was the end of the round.
All right, so that takes us to our top eight. So I'll list us off. So our sole 5-0 player is A Boss, followed by 3-4-1s in Paradox, Almost, and WSG Ron. And then the 3-2s that were able to make it, we got John K. Kez, Spifferific, Phoenix, and Derek Davis. So condolences to Suno, Proj, Roshi, and Apple Chips, who were on the outside looking in, but still able to collect points for the leaderboard race, which is
Yeah.
kind of shaping up, starting to take form a little bit more as people are filling out their top chunk of finishes. So we're going to cut to a quick break, and then we will be back for the
Yeah.
top eight.
Yeah. See you guys later.